Hello, hello, and welcome to the CTB show. Today is the very first day of June 2021. The weather is normal for once. Hey, it's Pride Month, but before Pride comes a fall, which don't make no sense, because fall comes after summer, so which is it? Welcome to the show.
You do that on the top of your head.
No. My name is Evan the Mayor, that is Brian the Levy.
As like I always say, it's Adam and Steve, not Adam and Eve.
And that's Casey the Casey.
Can I buy an intro?
That's a good joke. All right, we are here with you for another day, another podcast brought to you by our ad sponsor. And we've got a guest, a proprietor of a video game store, a retro video game store in the area. We will get to that in about 10 to 15 minutes. But before we do that, take some care of administrative details, which we like to call sometimes, well, it's been. And I think Brian has an interesting one to get to after we all complain about the weather from the past Memorial Day weekend.
Holy smokes, did it suck.
Cold, rainy, not fun. Didn't stop us from going out and seeing the if Memorial Day is the official start of summer, this was the official end of COVID.
But I was thinking about that, and like, isn't it just so fucking emblematic? It's like, all right, everybody, it don't matter if we're fucking vaxxed or not. We've just decided that this shit is over, and we're going out. And instead, it was just a rainy, cold mess.
It was a rainy, cold mess. We did go to one place that had karaoke for the first time since lockdown, and I was
what was it like deep throating other people's spit?
Well, I kept my mouth shut the entire time. I just and through pursed lips and a straw, and I hid in the corner. I only did Pearl Jam songs. I
That's not.
But
Pearl Jam,
at the very least, actual Memorial Day was a nice little lovely day, and we did a bunch of grill out. What did you guys do?
Well, I hung out with you yesterday.
I know. That's fine. You could have just said that.
We had a
lovely time. You and I, la la
la. Again, like a lot of weekends, we hung out. Casey, what was it like in the county for Memorial Day? Were like people like shooting off guns and fireworks and stuff? I just assume that's what happens in your neighborhood.
Fireworks. It was either Saturday or Sunday. Everything kind of blurred together.
Oh, you were drinking?
There's definitely some Dundalk fireworks, like professional grade fireworks out of somebody's backyard.
What are Dundalk fireworks? I feel like it's just like a couple of rags dipped in gasoline stuck down a paper towel tube.
And then thrown into the air.
Got some Dundalk fireworks.
I mean, it was off of somebody's, boat or something, like very close to our house, and
international
like professional
waters.
Fireworks. Yeah, international waters. Conveniently, right as I'm putting my kid to bed.
But Casey, that's like a 5-hour process. Like, you can't fault people for hitting that window.
Which is poor time.
That window of kids' bedtime.
Yeah,
between 3:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m.
So we actually had our first play date. It was supposed to be outside, but so we did the play date inside, and very quickly learned that he does not like to share.
Oh no!
So that was fun.
Well, but this is almost really like his first play date at all, I would think. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he was in daycare before, but this was his first play date. So that was.
Tell us about the other young child. Were they nice?
Yeah, they were all cool. They were friends of ours, and so we were all hanging out, and they're all around the same age, and so then they would just go to play with a toy that he wasn't playing with, and then my son would go over and be like, "I want this now."
Was there any violence, like an open hand slap across the face or anything?
No. So thankfully we didn't have that. We did have, my son tried to run his, he's got a little fire truck he rides on. and he pushed it up his slide and then just fell backwards onto his head
That's what he gets.
on the hardwood floor. Yeah, it's usual.
You can't play with that. Oh, it fell. Like,
yep, that's
and
about right.
scene.
All right, so that's what we all did. But Brian, you've got a sort of an interesting announcement which will actually affect this program.
No, I don't think it will.
I mean, a little bit. It's logistically maybe different.
We'll figure it out. Those kids gotta go to bed sometime. Yeah. So,
what kids are you
you're
talking
having a
about?
child.
What am I? What kids? People might be asking themselves. Well, let me tell you. So when I quit Giant in March, in a fit of panic, I said, "Okay." I was like, "What am I going to do? How am I going to make this happen? What am I going to do with my life?" So part of me
thoughts that you normally have before you quit.
But, you know, Casey, that's why blind rage can only get you in trouble. So part of me going back to college to be a history teacher is this dream of working at a summer camp. And more specifically, the summer camp that I went to as a child. So when I quit Giant, I sent them an email. I'm like, hey, good news for you guys. I am available. And they said, well,
with zero qualification.
What was, I was like, listen, I know who I am. I know it's been, I think my last summer at camp was 99. I was like, I realized, 22 years. I am a 38-year-old man. I was like, but hey, 38-year-old man with nothing to lose,
No flags raised.
Freedom's just another word, baby. And I'm like, what can I do? And they very politely kick that can down the road. And they're like, look, I bet you the answer is nothing, but we might we might need you last minute. We'll let you know.
We'll let you know if we need a lawnmower.
Yeah, but which was, they're like, maybe we'll, if we need someone to drive vans, would you be willing to do that? I was like, yeah, I just want to get in there and create relationships, with the camp and try to look at my future. When the semester ended a couple weeks ago, I sent them an email and I was like, hey, semester's over. Just wanted to check in, see if there's any of that last minute stuff. And woke up the next morning to a very firm no. We just don't got it for you. But by noon that same day, they said, yes, come to camp. So starting on June 15th to July 25th, I'll be doing the first month. I'm going to be a sleepaway camp counselor at my old childhood summer camp.
Wow. Awesome.
There are a couple of different reactions I'm getting to this. Some of those are that reaction. But I would say most people have been insanely jealous.
Being able to go to camp.
Of being, I understand that I am in a very interesting place in my life where I am afforded that opportunity to just be like, well, I'm a full-time college student. I got nothing going on this summer. What are those? What normally happens? Well, they go to they go be a camp counselor. I can't swim. I mean, I can swim, but I can't be a lifeguard.
Right.
So my only other option is, sit on a softball field with a whistle and not a pool.
I was gonna wait, but didn't you mention that this camp has a radio studio or something to that effect?
The camp I went to, Camp Shahola, we have the first FCC licensed camp radio station in the country.
Wow.
There are others. So I'm going to end up probably teaching a bunch of radio classes. Like I said, sit on a softball field a little bit. I'll probably do a lot of driving. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. When I was the last time I was there, I was a counselor at 16, right? And I was using fake IDs to go to bars and stuff and just really just partying my fucking ass off. And I wasn't there for the kids or nothing, none of that shit. So this time I really want to make sure that people, I had some people say, so what are you going to do like when the kids go out at night? I'd be like, I don't know, sit in the dining hall and read my book, like go to bed at 11. I'm going to be exhausted. You know, I'm almost 40 years old. I'm 38. Like,
Yeah, and you'll be outside all day running around in the dust.
Yeah, I'm going to be pooped. You know, I
Pooped.
assume I'm going to be doing some like team building at some point. But you know, otherwise, I'm going to let the kids have their fun, and I'm just going there and having to do a good job.
Can I make a recommendation? Instead of the softball field, is there an opportunity for you to do any fishing?
There is, yeah. We have, God damn. I remember when I was a kid, we would buy this like orange, like super bait shit, and just like stand on the docks and catch nothing. So yeah,
Right.
there is a lot of that.
I hated super bait because it never worked.
Oh no, it's it's just a fun way to be like, we just gotta sit here for 45 minutes, don't gotta run around or nothing. Hey,
Right.
like it's like once you got old enough to like figure that shit out, you're like, whichever buddy's like, hey, you want to take a break and like second activity, like we can just do like fishing. Like we don't really gotta do shit, we just gotta show up at the right time and sit around.
So, how many activity periods did you have in the morning? Was it 3 like Echo Hill?
Like it's been 20 years. I think it's 3 and 2, and maybe it's 3 and 3.
We had 3 and 2, and then an evening activity, and then it was bedtime.
Yeah, but the evening activity is always semi-optional. If you want to sit on the hill and read, and you don't have a baseball game or a hockey game or a basketball game or something, like you can do that. I assume I will. That's the kind of relaxing that I'm probably not going to be able to do till like 10 p.m. ish. But this is like also the first time I'll ever be actually in charge of children.
Multiple.
Official, officially, well, so I'm just really hoping I do right by the kids. I don't want to be a dick. I
should hope not, Brian.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to make sure that it's a whole new world, man. Like think about the things that we did and said to other children when we were children.
Yeah.
I don't think that they do that anymore. I think kids are nice now.
You might be surprised. I've been around some mean ones.
Not mine.
No.
Mine's a bully.
Cat and Cochran's a monster. I think we've all established that.
Selfish monster.
He's a cast member on Succession. I don't know what that show is. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it's like 10 days of work camp where you gotta like get the place looking good, and then a month of camp, and then they're like, we don't really have room for you in the second month, but I'm hoping I'm just doing a good enough job that they're like, stick around. So, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too.
You think this is the weirdest shit?
It's pretty weird.
Why? You're so wrong.
It will be interesting to see what kind of quality recordings you can get out of an actual radio station for the purposes of this podcast when you abscond yourself to the studio.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're gonna have to figure it out. We'll have time.
Or we get some of the kids on and do a little radio show podcast.
I cannot imagine.
That's a bad idea.
I cannot imagine that will be all right by the administrator, by the directors.
Hello, parents. We would like a permission slip signed via Adobe Acrobat for your little 9-year-old to be on this Podcart program.
Yep.
It's on the internet.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
A lot of curse words.
It's like, and that's the thing, I gotta act like open mic and stuff, no, hot mic, no cursing. Like,
right.
I'm the authority figure. I'm the responsible one here. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna flex some muscles. Yeah. Maybe I think the book I think will be great.
Okay. Well, that'll be a chapter.
So how?
Yeah, go Casey.
How much older do you think Brian is going to be than any other employee?
Not the administrators, but the counselors.
Yeah.
At a minimum, 22. 21.
I'd say I'll be about 10.
I think one of them's going to be 20.
Oh, no, not one. There's going to be 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 25.
Okay.
You know, I mean, and they're very different than 38, but like at least they're of legal drinking age.
Yeah. And you can have an adult conversation with them, sort of.
Yeah, they've had jobs for a couple of years now. Maybe, you know, I can ask them what it's like to be first-year teachers. You know, that sort of shit. I'm looking to like. I'm really going to learn, you know, I'm trying to see like what's life. And like, even still, like, even if I'm not administration, they know that I'm coming up there with, you know, a view for my future to be like, to get in there. So like, they're not going to like shun me. You know, I assume that these older management types will be speaking to me eventually, you know?
Sure. First day. Then
What?
Get out of here. I said first day, then get out of here.
Right. You know, like, all right, so you're here, you know, hey, listen, you better talk to Mr. Johansson over there. Hi, Brian, it's me, 17-year-old Mr. Johansson.
All right, we got to get to this interview. So it is now time to celebrate the internet sensation.
Give me the track.
Sweeping the nation. It's time for shoutouts.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right, shoutouts is the part of the show in which we take a break, then come back with an interview in which we give mad props, aka shoutouts, to persons, places, and things that are giving us jolly and improving our quality of lives. My shout-out is to the Baltimore City COVID-19 vaccination dashboard for giving us a very elegant and beautiful graphical representation of the obnoxiously slow progress this city is making towards 65% and a mask mandate lift. Thank you.
There's a user on Reddit that averaged out like how many days, like basically a target date for 65%.
Yeah, it's like August.
And it just keeps getting further and further out. It was like, I think originally it was close to July 4th, and now they're like towards the end of July.
Yeah, I might have something else to say about it later toward the end of the show.
Maybe.
Okay.
My shout out is to Amazon. Apparently they announced today they are supporting the federal legalization of marijuana, and they have announced that they are removing marijuana.
You know why they're doing this. Amazon weed.
So they can sell it?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
so they can deliver weed.
But the important thing is that they're removing it from their pre-employment drug screening.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
regardless of what the other
very
intentions
cynical play,
are,
Casey.
that is a good thing.
Well, because once Amazon does it, then other companies will do it, and then some states will follow suit, and then the federal government hopefully will take it off the schedule already. Brian, what do you got?
This show is I guess it's a couple years old at this point, but I think they're just about to get to the back half of the second season. Shout out to Pen 15 on Hulu. I binged the first season and a fair amount of the second already, and that's a good fucking show, man.
Very funny.
I like that show.
Very good. I like a nice tight shout-out sesh.
The brand new brother in town.
That has been shout-outs. Now we will take another little ad break and come back with our interview with Kat Huffman, the owner of Regen, a video game store. Stay tuned. All right, we are back from break, and we are joined by a one-time friend of the show and now a current-day friend of the show, Kat Huffman from Regen Video Games in White Marsh. Please say hello to us.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
It's been a very long time. I am champing at the bit to talk about some video games, but also small business during COVID. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So first, we should probably say, where exactly can we find said small business?
Well, it's actually a bit of news. We are currently in the White Marsh Mall, but we are in the process of moving to Towson. So by the end of June, we will be in the Towson Mall instead.
Bigger space, smaller space?
It's a bigger space. And it's the same management company, so it's a pretty easy lateral move. But it's right next to that Round One, the big Japanese arcade they opened up there. So it would be perfect. The whole gaming hallway, basically.
There's an arcade At Towson Mall?
Yeah, it's like the Japanese version of Dave and Buster's, where you get all the rhythm games and like the fighting games. There's a bowling alley in there. Yeah, it's great.
Does it have like Time Crisis?
There's some shooting games. There's probably the newer Time Crisis, like House of the Dead, Tomb Raider, stuff like that. But it's got like the Japanese racing games, like Initial D type stuff. So it's fun.
My favorite of those rail games was always Area 51. They had that at the Fuddruckers in my town.
I'm a big House of the Dead 2 fan. The voice acting in that is just like pinnacle that era.
I thoroughly enjoyed Typing of the Dead.
Yes, that too.
The spelling shooter. So anyway,
is that on Dreamcast or?
Yeah, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as we flex nuts on our innate knowledge of previous video game histories, I guess let's start with the sort of topical stuff. Owning a business throughout the process of COVID. Some businesses crushed it, and others got crushed. Where did you guys stand? I have to imagine video games were white million-degree hot.
Yeah, no, we absolutely crushed it. We ended up cleaning out our back room of stuff that people hadn't been buying in years. We are out of everything because everybody wants it so much. Like before Christmas, like 2019, we had maybe 75 Wiis sitting in the back room because you couldn't give a Wii away. And at this point, as soon as one hits our shelf, it's gone to the next person in line.
Wow. Yeah,
and that's so interesting because like before you got on, we were saying, what are like the peripherals that people are buying now because of COVID? I mean, so is it the Wii? Like, because I saw a headline the other day, why the Wii U sucks and the Switch is better for it. You know?
Yeah. I have a Wii U because it covers the Wii. I don't need a Wii. Like it just saves space in my house, and my Switch was collecting dust for about a year or two. I didn't do too much with it. But I think a lot of people, they're all stuck at home, or they were, and they needed something to do with their kids. And the Wii is probably the best active system for a family to do. I feel like people were using it for like gym class, for like online schooling.
What do you think what was the thing that you were most surprised that somebody came in, they're like, I'm stuck at fucking home. I'm playing these games. I need a Robbie for the Nintendo. Did you get any of like those?
Not that. The Rob is still pretty collector level. Like the only people who know what it is just want it to sit on their shelf. Like they don't want to use it. But a lot of like Guitar Hero stuff has really made a comeback.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think just general like group, party games. If you're stuck at home with 3 other people, you better have something you can all do together. So we used to, PS2 guitars were like $15 and now they're like 50 because they're just impossible to find. And that's for the PS2, like not even the good Guitar Heroes.
I literally threw away all of those peripherals. Just threw them away. They're
they're so cheap.
Yeah.
And now the 360 guitars are going for over $100 because can hook them up to your PC and do custom charts. So everybody wants the USB, which is crazy.
How do you write like custom charts? Like people are writing songs for
you can add any song to it. I mean, it's not technically legal, but you can import any song and create your own chart, so you can just play whatever song you want to.
Guitar Hero Maker.
Yeah, it's a Clone Hero, I think it's called.
Okay.
Now that things are slacking off, what are you guys going to do to like pivot into the hey, you can bring your Game Boy outside kind of world?
Oh God. Honestly, it's still just so busy, like for anything. And people are buying Game Boys to take on vacation because they can finally travel again. Because before they only wanted like the newest system, the new 3DS or the Vita, but now they're like, I'll take a Game Boy Color on an airplane. I don't give a shit.
Like they beat the shit out of their Switch. They might as well play something they haven't played in 20, 25 years.
Yeah. And there's a ton of kids that still, they were stuck at home and they're 10 years old and they're looking at all these videos on YouTube like Angry Video Game Nerd and whatever. So they're coming in and buying stuff that wasn't even around when they were born. Like, so now you've got the parents and the kids are vying for the same systems because I
would like the LJN box set, please.
Somebody bought a Wonder Swan last week. Like, who wants a Wonder Swan?
I don't know what that
Nobody
is. What is a Wonder Swan?
I think it's like exclusively Japanese handheld. It was pre Game Boy Color. It was like early 90s. Final Fantasy 3 was on it.
It's for people that saying the word Famicom isn't nerdy enough for them. They gotta take that extra level.
Basically.
What do you think? What was the most popular retro stuff during the pandemic?
I mean, there's different demographics of people that shop there because there's the families who want the Wii or the Nintendo 64 or anything 4-player. But then the PS2 and the GameCube both took off in the past year. Like games that used to cost $20 are now $75. Like you can't get a decent GameCube title for under $60. It's ridiculous.
So if I wanted to get deep into Super Monkey Ball, not my time.
I mean that everything's jumped up a little bit. Monkey Ball is probably still in like the 20 to 30 range, so it's not too bad. Even the Wii Monkey Ball was a launch title, and we couldn't give it away for $5, and now it's like $15-20. It's everything is just through the roof.
So awesome.
Yeah,
I love hearing that stuff.
Honestly, it makes me nervous. Like it feels like a bubble that's gonna pop, and suddenly we'll have like no money. Or we
just
paid
pivot
too
to
much for
Pokemon
things.
cards.
Oh God, you can't even get a hold of them at this point.
Right. Do you have any cabinets? Do you sell like NeoGeo cabinets or anything like that?
We don't sell them. We have a couple to play.
Just have them.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a 4-slot NeoGeo and a Naomi Universal, which has Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in it right now. But you can rotate it and play like top-down shooters and stuff like that. It's fun.
Does the NeoGeo cabinet have the memory card thing? You used to be able to like save your game. I remember there was one Wizard game that I liked to play, but because the NeoGeo was expensive to play at the arcade, I was like, I have to be able to come back next year to Ocean City and play this dumb game and win. One of my friends from high school during quarantine, he has a garage that wasn't really doing anything, converted the whole damn thing into a retro gaming cantina. So he has a Vextrex Star Wars game where you just repeatedly blow up the Death Star over and over and over, and it gets harder and harder and harder. He has a Road Blasters game, which I love, and then he has one of those like 10,000 game MAME emulator thingies. And a tabletop Galaga.
That's fun. Those are great.
Very fun.
Do they have like Golden Tee?
Nope. Sorry, Casey. Too new.
Big Buck Hunter.
Yeah.
I love Big Buck Hunter. I realize it's probably problematic, but I mean, whatever. I will shoot some fucking wildlife. I've been playing. So I've been playing. I've been playing 2 games in quarantine. Fortnite, which everyone knows ruined my marriage, and Breath of the Wild. And one of the things that I am fascinated with in Breath of the Wild is just the wanton animal abuse. Like you are, like a pretty little fox will just run by me, and I'll be like, "Fuck you, fox," and I'll just like chop its head off. It's weird.
I was playing that last night. Actually, I'm super late on the Breath of the Wild boat, but I just got to like the snowy mountain area, and I was like, "Oh, look, a blue fox!" And my horse ran it over, and it died. And I was like, "Ah, shit."
I like when you can really get into the fuckery and take like your time stop thing and then throw with your magnet like a boulder at something and it flies off a cliff.
Yeah.
I'm doing one of those quests right now. Well, not right now, but like I paused to do this, and those are hard. Like, here's my problem. Here's my problem with video games now, is that they're too hard. And the things about them that are hard are silly. Like, it's not like, I understand that maybe it's going to take me a lot of bullets and dodging to like kill a main bad guy. But like, when you're talking about like having to like golf ball these stasis things, no, I'm always like focused, like facing the wrong way and all that shit. Like, I like side scrolling.
Is there too many buttons on the controller these days for you, Brian?
I mean, flat out, yes, Casey. Like,
except that in your background is one of the hardest video games of all time. Like the original Super Mario Brothers is very hard.
But it's, I mean, and yeah, you're gonna have to tell us what like your favorite, like, it's a muscle memory game at this point. There's at no point in time am I ever worried like that I just don't know when to hit the jump. You know,
Yeah, that's how I feel about like Sonic 2.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I also bought a Sega collection, and I was playing Sonic 1 and just bashing my head against the wall because you can't do the spin move in
Right.
Sonic 1.
They hadn't invented that yet.
You know, if you had to pick a favorite, so you're a Sonic 2 person, but if you had to pick like another all-time favorite retro game, what could you just like sit and beat and then just play it again?
I mean, it's probably like cliche for women of a certain age, but Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
like
women of a certain age, millennials, I think is the word you were looking for.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I had an NES and a Genesis and a bunch of N64 games, but Ocarina of Time was the thing that I would get up early before school and play, and then turn it off, get home, and run off the bus to keep playing it. Like, just do the same stuff over and over. I didn't save on purpose so I could do it again. Like,
I wonder if that dividing line between girl millennial gamers and boy millennial gamers is Ocarina of Time and GoldenEye.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you there's an even, but then again, I bet you there's an even split of, boys and girls. Like everybody played both those games, like into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Further into the ground. And don't get me started on Majora's Mask. Screw that game.
That one's my favorite.
Oh, it's so hot. I don't like it. Ugh. It's very frustrating.
It was my first strategy guide.
Right, you have to have it. Had to have it.
I really hope that they come out with that port for the Switch. I really want it.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's not like the 3DS one though, because they cut out a lot of the meat that made it actually like challenging and fun. So we'll see.
My favorite recent video game news. Have any of you guys? I'm going to guess that maybe Kat has. But have you guys seen this lady from fucking Resident Evil?
The big
village?
lady.
Oh yeah.
The lady with the boots.
whatever.
Yeah. All the memes of her on the phone.
Yeah.
Every so often, you think that like video games are making strides, and then like this, and then you have a character like this lady who's nothing but like, check me out, I'm super sexy, I will rip your throat out. Do you find like, what is the push pull for you, like as a lady in gaming, like when you see stuff like that, like because I think that it's like Lady Mescu or something. I'm not even gonna bother, but like she's being adopted, like she's being embraced. I feel like by a lot of the lady gaming community.
Yeah, she's she's a full-figured lady, so a lot of cosplayers are seeing her as an option where most things were very small-framed women in the past. So I've already seen tons and tons of like Instagram posts of people dressing up like her because it's not that difficult either. Yeah. I mean, it's if it's a lightning rod for, I haven't seen any articles or anything about like body positivity, but it just seems to be creating that movement, which is cool. I mean, there's always going to be the group of people that are just sexualizing everything. I just saw something. Do you remember like the Aaron Esurance girl that they had to get rid of because there was so much porn of her?
I do.
They just made a new character for something like yesterday. It's like an insurance company or like the virtual assistant for Samsung or something like that. Like they just made her into a character. And of course there's already shit all over the internet. So
they should put her in
everything
Super
with a
Smash
grain of
Brothers.
salt.
I'll have to send you my flow from progressive fanfic sometimes. It's it gets dicey.
Casey, we got any questions from the doc?
Yeah. So the obligatory, what games are you playing right now?
Well, Breath of the Wild. So I'm actually a huge Zelda fan, but Skyward Sword had let me down, and I was like, all right, I'll try Breath of the Wild when it comes out, see if I like it or not, and I hated it. I didn't like the durability issues and the having to eat and being cold, and like it felt more like Skyrim with Link in it. I was like, I don't like this. But then I started playing Genshin Impact about 6 months ago, which is, if you're unfamiliar, people refer to it as Breath of the Wild, but with waifus. It's a free-to-play Chinese gacha game, but it's an amazing experience. Like it is Breath of the Wild. You just run around in an open world and do a bunch of stuff. But then I was like, you know what? I think I'll give Breath of the Wild another shot after enjoying Genshin so much, and now I love it. Like it's all I've been doing the past week or two. So I'm glad I tried again.
I'm the same way. We'll be getting ready to do this podcast, and I'll be playing Breath of the Wild. And then, as soon as we're done, because I have to leave my TV on to make my ring light work, I just pick the controller right back up. I didn't like it at first either.
Sometimes while we're
not for months, Casey. I didn't like it either when I first started. I was like, this game is a little boring. Like, and then once I figured out the rhythm behind it, I was really all about it. Like, it's a lot of fucking grinding. It is not a point A to point B to point C game. It is a bounce the fuck around type of thing.
I mean, I'm enjoying just running around and like unlocking all the map points right now, like all the towers and stuff. That's fun. Just ride the horse. Like, that's cool.
You get a motorcycle eventually, which I find to be a little strange. Like, this might be too nerdy, but there's this whole Shannara, which is a book series, like, atmosphere to this game. It's like in the ruins of the old Earth, and because every so often they're like, oh, I'm an elf, and I'll walk by this, like, burned out husk of a Volkswagen. I'm like, all right, cool. And now Link has a motorcycle. Oh, Kat, here's a question since we're talking about Zelda. Where do you come down? What?
Nothing.
Where do you come down on Zelda is the boy?
I mean, it's just one of those jokes that you hear in the game industry, I guess you could say I am. But it's one you just roll your eyes and go, yeah, okay.
oh, so I should stop saying that. Got it.
I mean, it's kind of like, like the dad joke where like you pull a 20 out of your wallet and you're like, just printed it this morning. Ha ha ha. Like everything.
I do.
Hey, Brian, your joke sucks.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to hold on to it. I think so.
I mean, with good timing, I'm sure it'll be fine. Just don't overuse it.
Oh, too late. What kind of stuff should we be like keeping an eye out for? Anything big coming out?
Let's see. Well, they just released a gameplay trailer for the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel on the PS5, which looks beautiful. I don't know if you guys played Horizon Zero Dawn at all.
So, because it's quarantine, and I don't know why I did this, but, like, aside from buying a gaming laptop, and downloading shitloads of stuff, which I'm going to get your feedback on the volumes that I did purchase, I have found myself, like, not playing certain games, but just watching videos of them on YouTube, like Cyberpunk, just watching, like, the trees dip down into the street and then fling a car into the air, which then explodes. Like, it's just these bonkers videos. I'm not interested in... The only, like, speed trial I was interested in was the Hit Ninja Gaiden, because that to me is like the hardest video game of all time. I was never able to beat it when I was a kid, and so
it's got terrible
I had to
jumping
watch
mechanics.
Well, no, what was terrible about the game was the memory limitations on the NES. The stuff that was off screen would just come back and back and back, no matter how many times you killed it. So you'd have to inch until you got to the edge of a cliff, and then you would jump and miss the ledge and die. Just over and over and over. And I cried tears of adolescent blood. Just, oh, God, awful. I forgot where I was going with that.
So what is the...
Go ahead, Kate.
Sorry, I was going to ask, what is the hardest game that you've ever played?
Oh, God. I don't know. Like, I've never been a Dark Souls guy or, anything like that, where I don't enjoy having to die a million times to make progress. Although, ironically, I really like Hades. I don't know if you guys have tried that one either, which
so
the whole point is to die several times.
Yeah, that was one of the games that I did buy because I heard such, very good stuff about it, and I've played it for over 100 hours. It's really, really great. And
I haven't beaten Theseus, so like I still haven't finished it.
Yeah. I mean, the first time you do defeat Hades, you're like, hell yeah, and then you keep making this progress until you get these like super weapons, and the gameplay completely changes. So you're like, oh, now I have to play 85 more times, and I finally stopped playing a little while ago, but I will get back into it to finally get that 100%.
Yeah, no, I love the challenge because it didn't get repetitive. I'm not bored of it.
Right.
But I mean, most of the games that I play are more time sinks than skill tests. I'm a big JRPG, Persona 5, Final Fantasy 9, 12, and 15, and Tactics are my favorites. I played Persona 5 Royal recently when that came out. I did play Last of Us 2, which was pretty challenging.
And that's the game like people were talking about 2019 into 2020, right? Like that got people were very into it with Elliot Page, right? I think he does the voice of
No, it's I can't remember her name. She's the waitress in the first Avengers movie.
Oh, is it the girl from fucking Growing Pains? She was the little girl, she's at the end, she's
Chrissy?
like, they saved me.
Ashley Johnson is the actor.
Yeah.
I'm correct.
Yes.
She was the baby Seaver in the Growing Pains, and then she like grew like 4 years over the summer break.
Sure did.
She was in What Women Want with Mel Gibson.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And she cries. I remember that movie. And The Last of Us is getting a TV show on HBO. That's another thing that people are angry about.
I think people are more excited for that than the Borderlands movie that they've been talking about, because the casting decisions for that have just been abysmal.
Do we like the idea of Tom Holland in Uncharted?
I like Tom Holland. So
Yeah, right. I'll at this point, I'll see him in things.
I think a lot of things like that, like I just remember the huge outrage everyone had about Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Right.
And he knocked it out of the park. So everything like that, I'm like, you know what? Let's see what happens first. Like, you never know.
What did you think of The Witcher 3, both the video game and the Witcher series on Netflix?
I haven't played or watched them.
Oh, well. That was another game that I downloaded and I played for about 40 hours.
I'm not really into like blood. Video game blood is fine, but like TV and movie, like I didn't watch Game of Thrones or anything like that. I don't do a lot of blood for that. And I've been told The Witcher isn't too bad blood wise, but it's not really on my list.
That's cool. I'm not mad at all.
Yeah.
Play this. One game I did play and I downloaded was because I was listening to another video game podcast where they were talking about Kojima Games. Are you into any of those?
I've never played Metal Gear, and it seems like such a task to get into, like the lore of the universe.
I was going to say, yeah, the lore is impossible to really understand at times, but the gameplay...
It doesn't make sense.
No, the gameplay for Metal Gear Solid 5 was very good. I played it for about 120 hours. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I watched somebody play some of it. It looks fun, but I looked up like a Reddit explain like I'm 5 for the Metal Gear series, and even that didn't make sense. So I was like, I
did the same thing. I watched like a 3-hour YouTube series on explaining like everything in chronological order. I'm like, nope, no, I don't get it. Sorry.
Metal Gear was one of those Nintendo games that I owned and just never beat the first level. Mm-hmm. Like it was like fuck this. I don't know why I had to punch this dog, but like
just trying to get you.
Like, even if I had like those encyclopedia doorstop, like all the hints for this SNES, or I never had an SNES. I don't know why I threw that S on there. All the hints for the NES. I'm like, I'll just turn to this page and it'll tell me all the secrets. But then my 8-year-old ass had to like execute those secrets, and I could never do anything. It was always bad. I could type in the code for Mike Tyson, but that's about it. I wasn't gonna beat him. And my other favorite thing to do, and to this day I still do it, the best way to get all the shit in fucking Mario 3 is just hit that fucking card flip and then Google to see which layout you got.
So I had the Nintendo Power Super Mario 3 like encyclopedia, and it had all the printed out solutions to those puzzles.
Yes. God, so I love that shit.
That was my first video game ever.
Really?
Super Mario 3.
That's a good way to start.
I was like 5 years deep, but like because I guess I got my first Nintendo in '89, for like, and then I guess 91 or 90-ish. I don't know. When did the Wizard come out, Casey? You don't know.
I think it was 1990 or 89.
Something like that. So this reminded me of something, and I want to bring this up. So when I got Super Mario 3, we also got this other game for NES, and it is the earliest I can remember there being like some sort of voice control in a video game. And so my dad would play it and just yelling like fire, fire, fire. And it was some sort of like military game, but I don't remember any other game that used that headset.
Was it like Captain Vector or something? Like you had?
I'm trying to find it and I can't.
Was this on the Super Nintendo?
I feel like
No, it was on the NES.
is Cobra
NES.
Command something had a headset?
Was he using I remember there being a headset with a laser beam eye thing or something like that.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, because the U-Force was the one with the fists.
Oh,
It
that was
also did
terrible.
not work.
Wasn't Captain Vector a thing? Like, I feel like maybe that was like a TurboGrafx, maybe, or a Neo, or an Atari Jaguar. Like, I never had any of this shit. I just remember all of these ads from the backs of comic books where it's like, TurboGrafx 16. You can play that fucking caveman game, Bonk. I think.
And every kid looks like it's having the most fun any kid could ever have.
Right, like Alex Kidd is not that much fun. Like child, like nobody wants to really play Ghosts and Goblins.
That's a very, very hard game.
Also, I just Googled it. Is it Laser Invasion?
That sounds familiar.
It looks very similar.
Isn't
what
it
I'm
basically
picturing is
just-
very similar to Cobra Command.
Okay.
I was gonna say, isn't it just Missile Command, but you're like moving the dot with your eye and yelling fire, fire, fire to like stop the missiles from coming in?
Imagine
It
the
sounds
whiplash.
really awful.
Wasn't that a
Yeah.
Nerf thing where the kid was like, fire, fire, fire? Are you
Yes.
sure?
I don't think he had to say that though. He just wanted to.
He
You just
wanted
blink your
to.
eye.
Like every time I jump, I go, it's a bee.
Boing.
Yeah, I don't have to.
Kat, I would like to discuss a product that is sitting on the front page of your website, at least
Okay.
part of the the catalog that you have on hand. It's a little video game for the SNES. I'll do a share screen right now. It's called Phalanx. It's the hyperspeed shootout in space. I am sure this is a Japanese, top-down space shooter with an old man with a banjo on the cover art. Do you have any idea why?
No, I don't. My coworker talks about it whenever it comes in. He gets really excited. He's like, "Oh, cool, we have this again." And I'm like, "Why is it good?" He's like, "I can't explain it.
I think
I don't know."
Does the old banjo man? Does he fit into the game? Is he a factor? Or
I
what's
don't.
going on?
Maybe he's giving me abducted by aliens vibes. Like maybe he's Appalachian. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. I'm spitballing.
I
you
do
said-
remember seeing the cover art as a kid, and I did not understand it. And I'm sure there are 10 million articles on God knows what, Kotaku or something about it.
I think it really highlights the need for a Banjo Hero spinoff.
Do you ever see things like the ET game show up, or are those just non-existent because they did that documentary? They're on a landfill.
No, the funny thing is they come in all the time. Like
Oh.
ET, it's $7. It hasn't changed. But the people who bring it in are just cleaning out their basement or whatever. It was just in their pile of shit. They didn't care, so they sell it to us. And then some kid comes in and goes, "Oh my God, you have ET! This is so rare!" So it always sells instantly, even though there's no demand for it.
Right, it's so rare. We're selling it for $7.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah, but
together some context.
They'll look at it and then be like, "Should I get it? Am I getting a really good deal?" And I'm like, "It's probably overpriced, but sure."
Well, that's when you break out a Sharpie and put a 2 in front of the system. It is
I'll
rare.
fix this for you, young man. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
You want to pay more?
And that's
Fine.
the kind of thing they play it once, they stick it on their shelf, and they're like, "I got an ET." You
Yeah.
know?
Just put it in the background of their stream.
I would probably do something like that, just to have it around or use it as a Christmas ornament.
Do you find a lot of people? I mean, how many of your customers do you think have a Twitch stream?
There's a particular faction of like Smash Bros. Players that come in that I'm pretty sure are just streaming because it almost feels like they're streaming while they're in the store because of just how obnoxious they are.
Well,
I
What
don't
is it?
know.
What is it about Smash Brothers that like? Because I agree, people who like Smash Brothers, it's like people who like Venom. I'm like, God. Like, oh, the Joker's my favorite, and I love to play Smash Brothers. You know, like, God.
Yeah, it's kind of like an instant red flag at this point. I don't know. It's just the competitive like bro atmosphere. I think it's sports for people who are bad at sports, but they still want to be
Competitive.
sportsy. Yeah.
What is the douchiest game
currently.
currently? Aw. But I
Actually,
spend
Fortnite
literal.
is kind of shifted to children now
I agree.
instead of.
Yeah, okay. Or close to 40-year-old men. It's fine.
I mean, you do what you want. That's fine. But yeah, I mean,
That's nice, sweetie.
Right.
It's always Call of Duty. It's always like the Maddens and the 2Ks, and then there's whatever hot streaming shooter is out there. It's Fortnite, it's Apex, it's Valorant. You know, it was Overwatch for a minute, but Overwatch had a lot more of like a female audience. But women can be douches. I guess I don't want to exclude anybody.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Fortnite because it's like I was saying with that 007 divide. All it is just 007 for me. Like I'm like,
Mhm.
This is not the first time I spend many hours in an afternoon playing a first-person shooter against friends and/or people I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, just the rage that people can get. I mean, I'm sure you've been screamed at by a 12-year-old or screaming at them.
When I play online, I only play with people that I know, and I don't leave my microphone on
That's
unless
fair.
I know them, because I don't
Yeah.
want to hear them.
Yeah. No,
So I have a question before we start to like wind things backward to COVID retro gaming and then get some final
Sure.
plugs in for you. What do you think of like gaming as a service rather than having a cartridge in your hand that's the game, the thing, or even the thing that you downloaded, but rather Fortnite is never going to go away. It's it's always just going to be Fortnite 5.0, right? Where they just keep adding stuff and charge microtransactions, and that's just the model. Versus like a standalone product that you might get an expansion pack for or whatever. Do you see that being I mean, obviously it's the future and it's the present, but what do you think about all that?
I'm a big proponent of physical media because it keeps my business going. But
Right.
I also, playing Genshin Impact is the same thing. You just get the update every couple of weeks and you're off. Like it's microtransactions but there's always like in the back of my mind, I don't want to get digital copies of things when physical is available because I'm always worried like, they're going to delist it. I'm going to have to get a new system and it's going to be gone or they're going to revoke the licenses or whatever. I mean, there's some instances where like the digital copy will have different music in it because the physical copy was released before they lost the license to that music. And, I don't like the ability to go in and edit my possessions.
Well, and then
From
when you
their
think
end.
about it, like when they have these, Evan, you got all these collections on Steam. When you get those collections, they don't have like RoboCop versus Terminator or Back to the Future. Like they don't have those awesome licensed games that like where I live. I love playing a video game adaptation of a movie. And
Cool
so
world.
like. Yeah. Is there a cool world? I don't want to know.
There
what
is
was involved.
there is a Cool World game, and Kat, if you have it in stock, I will buy it for Brian.
You're
I
on the
know
website.
there is one.
Only if it says Hollywood, WOULD, ...
All I know is
the
it.
tag.
I know for a fact it's a terrible, terrible platformer that never should have been made, and so neither should the movie, really. But we rewatched
But yeah, I think
it
that
recently.
there's a place for the online only model, but I don't think it's going to bump at the mainstay of gaming out of the first place.
I'm thinking specifically about a lot of MMOs that have had the cord plugged on them because per monthly subscription I just don't think in the future is going to be a viable thing. And I played the shit out of some Asheron's Call, and then I looked back online a couple of weeks ago, and it was like you can watch video of the last several moments that the game was live, and you're like, oh no, they're all dying. And it's just
Wait,
very
what happened?
sad. Well, it's
That's-
just
I mean-
these MMOs that these people are so dedicated to, and they're just playing the game till the bitter end, and they're all just standing around chatting with one another while the admins pull the plug, and the game's gone forever. You can't play it.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to subscribe to Fortnite. You're not going to start paying monthly to play Fortnite. So the microtransaction model has its merits, even though it sucks. But that's definitely the way that online gaming is going, because Final Fantasy 14 is alive and well, but
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to sit down and play an MMO online. So they just
Well,
need
Evan's
something
favorite
to
video
into.
game of all time is Simpsons Tapped Out. So he is very much into microtransactions.
It has the online community for that.
Awful.
We restarted playing that game. I quit for 3 years or more, and then came back to it just to see what was up, and it was so abysmally bad. Just every update was the same kind of churning nonsense. Oy, no thanks. I already dabble in too much mobile gaming. I don't need any more of it.
Yeah.
So do we have any? I don't know, Casey. Any closing arguments? Any queries for the cat?
It's along that lines. There's a question about like your views on like casual mobile games. I had this thought the other day, like kids today, like that's their first exposure to video games. Like my first video game was Super Mario, and now Super Mario World, and now it's these phone games. And how do you think that's gonna impact the future of gaming?
I mean, like I got an NES when I was 5, and it had Super Mario and Tetris and like Fisher Price fucking match the cards. And I didn't play Mario because I felt guilty for letting him die, and I didn't play Tetris because my mom was really good at it and she'd yell at me if I played. So I was just stuck playing Fisher Price memory games, basically just flip the card over, blah blah blah. And when you think about it, like how different is that from playing Candy Crush on your mom's phone? Like you're just doing brightly colored things to beeps and boops. It's just a different format. Like
With those beeps and boops, that's serotonin, man.
Mhm.
It's also a very good title of the episode. Brightly colored beeps and boops. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean that's just the evolution of things. Being a millennial, it's hard to keep a handle on how quickly technology changes. But
I mean, I do think there's a lot to be said to that. Like we're all just still playing Tetris. Like I got a Game Boy. The year after I got the Nintendo, and I know in my life I've spent a gazillion more hours playing Tetris than I have like anything else.
Mhm.
We're all just still playing Tetris, whether it's Candy Crush or it's actual Tetris.
yeah, it's just an updated version of a very simple game mechanic.
I mean, here's a great question. Why hasn't Apple figured some way to like, get in with Nintendo and be like, you can slip your iPhone into this Game Boy thing, and you can put cartridges in there, like, or at the very least, like an actual emulator and shit.
I mean,
I
they
feel
made.
like
I think it's an Android only thing right now. It's been a year or two since I've checked on it, but they actually made a peripheral. Hyperkin makes one where you can pop your phone in, and you use it as a Game Boy with emulators, like licensed emulators.
I actually really like those Hyperkin systems. I think they get the job done pretty well.
Yeah, some of them are hit or miss. The Retron 5 is like the one to get because it plays everything and it has really solid hardware. But some of the cheaper, earlier models don't play, like Castlevania 3 because it has the big Konami board that won't read in it, or like the Star Fox, the FX chip on the SNES cartridge won't read in some of those things. So
now I'm just thinking about Jungle Strike and Desert Strike, which were Genesis games, but they had that like yellow thing on the side that some games. The what?
Was it the EA cartridges?
Yeah, they all have a little yellow tab.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought there was like a chip in there or something that made it work.
No.
I always thought those were special.
It gives you realistic John Madden sound clips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where they all
But
lived.
But that was like one of those things, like, just the kids in the neighborhood be like, yeah, I got this game. And it like is better because of this chip, like that made up chip that like 60% of the time was real somehow, but then it was also just like flat out fucking lies.
My uncle works at Nintendo.
Oh, did you ever call the number, like call the tip line?
I think it was a 900 number. So
Yeah, so I did not. I bet you ever did.
I once wrote a letter to Nintendo Power about the Prince of Persia SNES game, and I figured out the level, and then 3 weeks later I got a typed up reply, which was like, "Take your time."
Just keep on trying,
like,
bud. You got
fuck
it in
you. I just wasted 32 cents of postage on this. All right, to summarize. What was that, Brian?
Typed up reply is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Frame it.
And real quick, I do have to apologize, Kat. You were right. It was Laser Invasion.
Okay.
I saw the picture for the other game, and that was what was in my brain. But the attachment is the laser scope.
Okay.
And it was Laser Invasion was the game.
How many D batteries did it take?
A millennial, it's hard to keep a handle on how quickly technology changes, but
I mean, I do think there's a lot to be said to that. Like, we're all just still playing Tetris, like I got a Game Boy, the year after I got the Nintendo, and I know in my life I've spent a gazillion more hours playing Tetris than I have like anything else. We're all just still playing Tetris, whether it's Candy Crush or it's actual Tetris.
Yeah, it's just an updated version of a very simple game mechanic.
I mean, here's a great question. Why hasn't Apple figured some way to like, get in with Nintendo and be like, you can slip your iPhone into this Game Boy thing and you can put cartridges in there, like, or at the very least, like an actual emulator and shit.
I mean I think it's an Android only thing right now. It's been a year or two since I've checked on it, but they actually made a peripheral. Hyperkin makes one where you can pop your phone in and you use it as a Game Boy with emulators, like licensed emulators.
I actually really like those Hyperkin systems. I think they get the job done pretty well.
Yeah, some of them are hit or miss. The Retron 5 is like the one to get because it plays everything and it has really solid hardware, but some of the cheaper earlier models don't play, like Castlevania 3 because it has the big Konami board that won't read in it, or like the Star Fox, the FX chip on the SNES cartridge won't read in some of those things. So
now I'm just thinking about Jungle Strike and Desert Strike, which were Genesis games, but they had that like yellow thing on the side that some games. The what?
Is it the EA cartridges?
Yeah, they all have a yellow tab.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought there was like a chip in there or something that made it work.
No.
I always thought those were special.
It just gives you realistic John Madden sound clips.
Yeah. That's where they all lived.
But that was like one of those things, like, just the kids in the neighborhood be like, yeah, I got this game. And it like is better because of this chip, like that made up chip that like 60% of the time was real somehow, but then it was also just like flat out fucking lies.
My uncle works at Nintendo.
Oh, did you ever call the number, like call the tip line?
I think it was a 900 number. So
yeah, so I did not. I bet you ever did.
I once wrote a letter to Nintendo Power about the Prince of Persia SNES game, and I figured out the level, and then 3 weeks later I got a typed up reply, which was like, "Take your time."
Just keep on trying, bud. You got it in
you. I just wasted 32 cents of postage on this. All right, to summarize. What was that, Brian?
Typed up reply is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Frame it.
And real quick, I do have to apologize, Kat. You were right. It was Laser Invasion.
Okay.
I saw the picture for the other game, and that was what was in my brain. But the attachment is the laser scope.
Okay.
And it was Laser Invasion was the game.
How many D batteries did it take?
Took D's.
D's.
These nuts.
All right, to summarize, Kat, you are crushing it at Regen. Regen is moving to Towson next to the Japanese Dave and Buster's.
Yes.
You guys
We
are
don't have
open.
to know their name, Kat. They're not on the show right now. It's cool.
They're not paying us.
Right.
I?
Neither do you, to be fair, but we're happy to have you. So, everyone's allowed in. You just have to wear a mask, right, for now?
Yeah.
Okay. What should I buy when I come in there?
Whatever's available.
What was I think I was crawling around on your Instagram from earlier. I think it was around Christmas time, and it was a 50 stack of Mario Duck Hunt with Creepachu behind it.
Oh, Tyler was very proud of his architecture.
Oh, it was Tyler? Okay.
Yeah.
You had 50 of them in at the time?
Yeah, I think the most we've had a count of at once was 52, but we're in the low 30s right now.
What is your favorite obvious pandemic purchase that you've seen? What is your favorite thing that you've sold out of that back room that you said you cleared out?
It's not like the niche stuff. It's the fact that people had so much money all of a sudden. Like when that unemployment hit, oh my God, I must have swiped those debit cards like 12 times a day at one point. Okay, so the Def Jam games for PS2 have always been notoriously expensive.
The fighting games.
Yeah. So Fight for New York was like $60, $75, 2 years ago. Now it's like, it went to 150 to 175. I think it's over 200 now. But a guy walked in with like an infant strapped to his chest, and he saw Def Jam on the shelf, plucked it and put it on the counter and said, "I want this," and handed me his unemployment card. And all I could think was like, shouldn't you buy diapers or something? Like,
he had diapers.
Some milk for that baby.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. But, now people aren't hesitating to drop $200 on a PS2 game. We've got like Silent Hill games are pushing $100 now. Wow. One of the Dragon Ball games is 150. Like, they're just like, yep, I'll take it. Pokemon games. Oh my God. Like, you could get Pokemon Blue for $20 in 2019, and now it's like 65.
Wow.
Really? All the DS ones are. Soul Silver is like 225. What the fuck? We had a boxed Emerald for 550, and so kid walked in, was just like, done. I'll take it.
And that's amazing because you got to think there's a billion of them out there.
Yeah, it's like everybody's lost their impulse control, which for me is profitable, but I just feel bad.
Evan,
yeah.
You still have gold sitting around somewhere?
Oh, what now? Oh, yeah, I've got Pokemon Gold.
In box?
Actually, it's in box. I've got red, blue, Pikachu Yellow. I have a bunch of them, yeah.
Well, you're going to college, Evan. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll save those for when the grandkids need the money.
Do you have these 3 video games in your attic?
Yeah, right.
I'm sure you see a fair share of the people who walk in with like whatever the video game equivalent of the Princess Diana Beanie Baby is,
I mean, somebody slapped a Sonic 2 on the counter and said, "I bet you never seen one of these." And I just pulled out a stack of 10 of them, and I was like,
yeah.
"Yes."
You fan them out like a deck of
yeah.
cards.
Oh God! And there was that Pawn Stars where they were like, "Look, the NES 001. It's the very first one." I was like, "That's the model number. That's
right.
not." And people are like, "I sold this online for $1,000." I'm like, "No, it's not."
A world I understand.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, Kat. Well, thank you very much for being here with us.
Yeah.
Well, but like, where can we find you? Do you have anything exciting coming up? Like, you're not in Towson yet. You're still in White Marsh Mall, right?
Yeah, we were in transition. So, just check our social medias for updates whenever we actually end up closing the current store and opening the next one. Because of COVID, everything is backed up, like contractors, flooring, everything.
All right.
So who knows when it'll actually happen. But...
Well, don't be surprised if the 2 or 3 of us show up and start spending more money on our non-existent debit cards.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. We are back from our little post-interview break / wardrobe change. And we're running out of time. So it's now time to get a little angry. It's now time to get a little venti. Brian, you your audio just completely cut out. It sounded very...
Well, no, I made funny noises.
Under your breath?
I went, bah, bah.
Okay, either way, makes me want to go right ahead and tell everyone to shut up.
We gonna let the band deal with it.
Whoa. All right, this is the end of the show, which we give mad props, the opposite of mad props, aka shut-ups, to persons, places, and things that are lowering our quality of life and literally or proverbially not making it nice. We don't have any from the Facebook fan group, which is very slowly bleeding out members, and I'm not happy about it. Very disappointed, so shut up to that process.
Yes, so tell your friends, hit that like and subscribe button. Share us on your Instagram pages when you're listening on Spotify or whatever.
It would be nice if we could get 5 people to do that. Be great. Be great.
5. And
5.
And tag me so I can share it in my stories too.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely no one will do that. Shut up to the Baltimore City COVID-19 vaccine dashboard. It's a website for giving a very, very graphical and very, very streamlined looking representation of the obnoxiously slow progress this city is making towards 65% and a mask mandate lift. Thank you. Anybody else got one?
Yeah.
Casey,
you want to go first? I'm sorry.
I'll go ahead. Shut up to season 3 of The Sinner on Netflix. Really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season falls off a cliff so hard.
Never watch. Here's the rule that I now have in my life: never watch a show for more than 2 seasons.
Okay. Well, then TNG is in big trouble, Brian.
Nope. The only shows that I will watch are Star Trek shows. Or apparently I'm now watching my 20th season of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hell's Kitchen started last night. It's so good. Shout out to that stupid show. It might also be my shout out to how awesome it is. I'm not sure yet.
Well, since we're going back in time now.
Not. Oh, right. Maybe it will. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. You guys only. My barber knows for sure. Damn it.
Maybe next week it'll be your shout out.
Because I like it so much. No,
right.
That is not actually my shout out. My shout up is, and you know how much I hate a weather shout out and or shut up, but just shut up to the fucking garbage ass bullshit that this last weekend was. Like, just rainy and cold and couldn't leave the house. And, like, barf on a stick.
It did some damage to the whole cicada situation. The park over here was teeming with them, and then all of a sudden they were all quiet and gone. And I don't know how that's affecting the region. They're
back today. I could full-on hear them, like, through the walls of my bathroom. It was terrible.
Okay. Why are they in the walls of your bathroom?
Well, no. I mean, they were outside of the walls of my house, but as I was peeing on that side of the house, I could really hear them.
Cool.
Thanks,
Casey.
He did his.
We got. What's happening?
I made him do his first. He was shut up to season 3 of The Sinner.
I'm so tired.
And then I told him, "Hey, don't watch any show past the 2nd season."
Yeah, and then you talked for so long that I forgot that Casey did it.
Yeah, well, you know.
And then he talked about several shows that he likes that have gone past.
Right. Okay. All right. That was the shut-ups. All right. This has been episode 370 billion trillion 64.5 of the CTB show. Actually, this was a very fun one. I like talking about video games, even though I don't play them as much as I used to. I mean, except during the holidays, I was playing them a lot. But, you know, now it's summer. It's time for tubing, baby.
All I'm doing these days is playing video games. I've got 2 weeks to do nothing.
That's very true. Forgot about that part. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and a better tomorrow.